Actually, just a quick video for the next episode for Project Bravo. I flushed the system, so I flushed through here to go out the bottom of the radiator, and I also flushed from this upper hose. I didn't undo the thing in here, it's just hidden underneath this. But I flushed from there out the bottom of the radiator. Then I flushed the heater core right here. So I did it backwards. So from this one is from the pump right here. So that's coming from the pump. And then usually this goes back to the engine, but I flushed it the opposite way just in case there's some sediment or whatever built up in the heater core. Nothing really significant coming out of them. In fact, it was pretty clean coming out. So I thought, you know, at one time somebody might have added something to this, and I mean, there's gunk, I think, from the leak stop in here, but I'm not finding it really that dirty other than finding residues of that. So it might have been changed since that stuff, you know, I'm not for sure on that. Then I did flush the engine. So I tried from here, going in here and then out the bottom of the engine, but you know, I didn't find that successful. So I'm just wondering how, because every video I've looked at on this, people flushed it from this, and to be honest with you, to flush good with this, you almost have to have an open thermostat, I would think, you know. So I ended up flushing through here, where the heater core comes from the heater core back into the engine, flushed from here out, and I had better success with that because that's got a direct path through the engine without going through that thermostat. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think if you've done it before, if it's normal standard procedure to do it with this, or, you know, I don't know, I found it easier from there. So it all flushed out pretty clear. Well, the engine flushed out a little cloudy at first, nothing big deal, and then it was clear real quick. So I still haven't filled it with radiator fluid or anything like that, and I'm kind of hesitating on that because I'm going to remove the valve cover, because I removed the oil thing. I had to pry it off almost, and then get it off. I had to use the channel lock to get it off the rest of the way, because that booger was on there. This is a threaded kind, and come to think of it, I was trying to pull that one off, and it is having issues coming off as well. So I'm wondering if that type of oil cap is like goes bad easy. I don't know. What I'm used to is, this is a 2.5. Don't mind the mess around here, but this is a 2.5. What I'm used to is something like this. It's kind of dirty, but you know, you stick it in, and then that's what I'm used to. Although that's a cast valve cover. These are steel valve covers. I like the steel ones better. However, if it's having issues with the cap, the oil cap, then I don't know if it's that great of an idea. The problem I had with the cast valve covers is I've accidentally cracked them before. So you can't tighten them too tight, otherwise it's going to crack them. These, on the other hand, you don't have to worry as much with it. Okay. I'm not sure when they did the switch. I don't know if, like, later years they went with the steel valve cover as opposed to the cast aluminum. But yeah, I mean, I changed the fan out in the last video, and as you could see, it was still overheating by a lot. So, like, it didn't even affect it. So something is going on with this engine. I don't know if the thermostat is opening. But anyways, going back to the cap, the reason I want to pull this off before I do anything else is when I pulled the cap off, it is a milky, like, grossness inside that engine, which makes me think there may be a crack leaking radiator fluid inside the engine, although the exhaust isn't giving off a white smoke or anything, so it's kind of odd. But that's why I'm going to pull this valve cover off, and I'm not sure what that is. That's not supposed to be there. That's weird. Somebody added their own touch to it. Okay, I wonder what kind of honky-dory jerry-rig shit that's going on, but we'll find out, I guess. But let's get this valve cover off and see what is going on underneath, okay? And some people try to, what am I trying to say? Some people like keep the order of the bolts. Not a big deal on the valve cover, I don't think. However, there are a few that need to be in the same spot as opposed to other ones. So mainly you got studded ones. Let me show you, like this right here, that are along, not the first two on the side, but from the third one on all the way back is the studded, and the front ones are just a regular bolt like that. That's on the passenger side. On the driver's side, let's see, not counting the one directly in the front, so 1, 2, 3, so the fourth one back is a stud. So just to give yourself some perspective, and of course you want the studded ones back in the place where it came from, because stuff like this right here, this looks new, right here, sits on those studs, and obviously definitely the fourth one back needs to have this just to keep these hoses positioned properly. Okay, honestly, it's not really a needed part. This one looks bent, that looks bent, so I don't know how that happened. I probably got more laying around here somewhere. And they come off really easy, so it doesn't take much to get them off. And that's why you got to keep an eye on the valve cover, because these will loosen up pretty easily, and you'll start getting oil leaks around the edges all the way around the engine. Not a huge oil leak, but just like mostly seepage coming out. One thing that this Jeep is missing is the plate that goes right here that kind of keeps the throttle and the cruise and all that in place. But obviously they'll still operate without that. Let me get up in here. Gotta get the back ones. Uh-oh. So another thing about the rear is the wiring harnesses. Hopefully I don't crack this. The wiring harness is like directly in your way. So when you move it around, you hope you're not severing any wires. One second while I get a longer one. Okay, I got that. Sometimes I drop it down the back. You can always get them later. Or if you're like me, you got like probably a whole set of them laying around. Now this is another one you want to be careful not to break. It's a little hard to replace. And another thing with these stamped steel is they have these rubber studs around it. Oop, I forgot one. Jerry plate is. I'm not sure what they are doing with that. I'm not sure. And then it just pops right off. You can take these and put them out of the way, but you can move this. Maybe I will need to. It's been a while since I've done this, okay? But in this case, you just unsnap these from the throttle. So the one going down to your heater, I think it's the heater. No, that goes to the transmission, is to the front. So I'm saying it out loud to the video so I know which order to put them in again. This next one goes drawer, no flatheads. So this one comes from, where's this going? It's going to the passenger side. Should I forget what this is called? It's right next to the fuse box. It might be the cruise control. One of these is the cruise control. This one might be the cruise control. In fact, now that I think about it, I believe it does. Actually, I didn't even check to see if this thing's got cruise control. I think that's cruise control. Yeah, it's got buttons for the cruise control, so that's cool. I didn't know that. Cruise control isn't a priority for me, so I don't even look at that. And this last one pops off and this one goes to the gas pedal. So, all right, now should just come right up, out, and over. Oh, I can't get it out. Back, see that cream? So that's what worries me. In it right now, and that might be why you don't see it in the dipstick. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but look at that's cream right there, guys. That is not what you want to see in the engine. And of course the valve cover is worse. Look at this. It's like a nasty pus. Very bad for your engine. Alright guys, it looks like I'm tearing this baby out. Son of a bitch. I was hoping I was gonna have a nice running one for cheap, but not today, or for a little while. Son of a bitch. Alright. That's what happens when you buy old stuff. And I think what had happened is the previous owner said that it sat for a long time, like 6 months they said, and when somebody came out to look at it, it was overheating when they were looking at it. And when I flushed this system, it seems like there was a lot of rust in it. At least that's what it looked like. And then this stop leak is in it. So that's horrible for an engine, long term especially. So I'm thinking if it was mostly water and it sat through a Michigan winter, it probably froze in the block and cracked the block. It's the only thing I can think of. So the decision I have right now, obviously this one is probably no good. I'll pull it apart and check it out. It might just be scrap for me. So my decision I gotta make is, do I put Project Alpha's engine back in? It's back here in the back. Yes, I've held on to it. I mean, it was a good engine, only kind of overheated. So I got two 4.0s in here. This was from a Jeep, 2001 Jeep, I believe. So I don't want to use that for this project, but this is Project Alpha's engine, and it had like a buildup of crap in the back right here. You can kind of see it's still discolored, and that's why I think it was overheating on the trail. But other than that, this was a great engine. It was pretty reliable. I pulled the drain plug, or the plugs out, obviously, so I'll have to clean it up and redo that if I use this engine. Other decision is I just keep an eye out on Facebook Marketplace for a working engine, and that might be my easiest go right now, because I was looking at like just regular kits for this because I suspected when I pulled that cap off. So I looked at like Clegg engines for a rebuild kit, and they want $800 for it, which really isn't bad. But if I'm going to spend $800 on a rebuild kit, I might as well make it a stroker, because you can buy a stroker engine, stroker upgrade from them for, well, as low as about $1,000. So might as well spend the two extra $100 to give it some pep. But all right, guys, I'm gonna call this a day. and think about my options. Start looking on Facebook for 4.0 engines. All right, well, thanks for watching and helping me go through all this. Please leave a comment if I'm missing something that I didn't see that you guys are seeing. I mean, overall, this is still a good Jeep in my book. You know, I paid what, $1,000 for it. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.